4:35 in the morning, and I know that this video isn't shot in the best setting, the best time of day, but I like this time of day. While everybody's asleep, I'm woke, and I'm okay with that. You know, I was having a conversation with my uncle, and we was just talking about a lot of things. And one of the things we started talking about is how these guys nowadays don't think for themselves. And I think that's a legitimate, real problem now. I like to call them parrot podcasters. They just like to parrot and regurgitate and recycle what they hear these podcasters say. So when they talk about not dating single mothers, not taking single mothers serious, I said, oh, okay. And I heard too many guys start recycling this talking point. I said, okay, because you can always tell by the answer how much thought somebody actually put into it. I'll say that again. You can always tell by the answer how much thought somebody put into it. Everybody wants to say things that sound cool, but they never get lost in their thoughts and actually ponder on anything. If I like the woman, I like the woman. You see value in that woman, you see value in that woman. But if you're surface level, there's no way you can see depth about a woman. There's no way in hell, right? There's no way in hell. And so, I got a stepdad, right? Before meeting my mom, he didn't have any kids. But somehow, some way, he saw value in my mother. So what the fuck you niggas want me to do? You niggas want me to sit up there and call him a simp? So my stepdad is a simp? Or did my stepdad have a set of eyes where he can actually see value and know how to extract value out of a woman? You niggas are surface level thinkers. Y'all don't think for y'all fucking selves. And this is why y'all never gonna be shit in life. You never gonna be shit in life. So, in advance, fuck y'all disrespectfully. Because you don't think for your fucking selves. Because let me tell you this. How full of shit niggas are. If you ask a guy right now, would you cuff Kim Kardashian? They gonna say, hell yeah. Why is it a hell yeah? That's how she look, how much money she got. But she got 4 or 5 kids. But now, watch this. It all breaks down to value and what you perceive value to be. So I got my journal right in front of me. I know y'all probably like, why he got a journal? I know the guy's like, what the hell are you journaling? I'm journaling my affirmations. That's what I do in the morning. I like to write them out. I like to speak them out loud. That's what I do. And one of the many ones is to be a man. I hope to always be a man that can think for myself. So I don't sound like one of you niggas that can't come up with their own cohesive thoughts. So let's get into it. So I'm doing this shit in real time for y'all. So draw stick figures, quick sketch. Let's take a woman, no kids. Cool. Now, let's take a woman with kids. Y'all need to stay with me, man, because y'all need to learn something. And I know y'all like, damn, man, you supposed to be the facts guy. You supposed to just give us primary sources of information. I got y'all, but part of being an intellectual is you have to have conversations like this. You have to. Especially when you look online and it's always the same guys talking about the same shit, and then it'd be a legion of other fuckers that say the same shit right behind them. I call it the fucking parrot regime. And, you know, let me say this too. One of my other mentors, we had this conversation some months ago about dating women with a kid or with kids. And he said that most of these guys don't know. That's probably the best woman for them. And let me get into that point. Some of the best women I've ever had in life has been women with a kid or kids. And yes, I fucked some of those relationships up. And sometimes the women feel undeserving. Why do they feel undeserving? Because society told them that they're a burden to society. That's why some women be like, I can't wait till I'm like 40, or I can't wait for my 30s. Because you know why? Because to them, they're pretty much saying, I can't wait to just be a woman again and not be a mom first. And that's a shame. And that's a shame that they have to have that type of mindset. And when they get that label that they're a burden to society, us as men, a lot of us don't notice. But once again, you have to have the eyes to notice. It's women that pick up extra hours and extra shifts just so they don't be a burden to the men that they can potentially deal with. So I want y'all to keep that in mind. So boom. Boom. I just drew it right there. Woman with a kid, woman with no kids, right? You can see it by the stick figure. So, when you're the average guy has surface level thinking, average guy. Once again, don't forget my Kim K example. Guys see the value in what out of Kim K? Where she looks and how much money she has. Surface level thinking. Surface level thinking. But then they're gonna pass out and almost faint if you say, hey, would you rather pick a woman with kids or no kids? They're gonna say the one with no kids. Without what? Thinking. You have to think first. Typically, I'm not saying this is all women, but women with no kids, they got all the time in the world to catch a vibe, do this, do that, and it's surface level thinking. So guys figure that going with the woman with no kids is the path of least resistance. They figure that it's gonna be easy, right? And I'm not trying to tell you guys out there to deliberately target single mothers to wear it as a badge of honor. No, I'm trying to teach you guys how to see value. You can see value in a woman with a kid. You can see value in that because they done the shadow work, they done the inner work, and then they know what it takes to care about something that's bigger than themselves. And let me bring this point back to my mentor. And this is the benefit, guys out there, to talking to men that think for themselves. He said that a lot of guys don't know that some of the best women are the women that has a kid or has kids, right? We got deep off into that conversation, and he was like, because those women, they just can't up and go to Dubai. They have to have some type of structure. And that structure, that intimidates most guys. Why? Because that woman doesn't make him the priority no more. A lot of these men don't pour into themselves, so they're intimidated in a woman that knows how to pour into somebody else but herself. I'm gonna let that sit for a second. A lot of guys can't pour into themselves, so they're intimidated by a woman that pours into someone else. Because that woman is attentional, structured. You can't just come any type of way. She's not going to make time for you 24/7, whenever, to just catch a vibe. No, everything has to be attentional. Attentional. The big person in that picture is actually the kid. Why? Because the woman is pouring more into someone else than herself. How isn't that an attractive quality in a woman? Hope you guys know, when you're in that mindset of always thinking about somebody first, that makes a person have a thing called selflessness. Don't take that for granted. Sometimes as men, we can take stuff like that for granted. Don't take that for granted. Don't abuse that. I've done that in the past. Remember I told you, I'm not saying I'm Mr. Perfect. I fucked stuff up like that in the past, taking that for granted and abusing that selflessness that a woman displays. So I'm kind of, in some ways in this video, I'm projecting onto you guys, but I'm also trying to teach you guys how to think for y'all fucking selves, okay? You know, to like all the women out there that's watching this, you know, that's done the inner work, done the shadow work, feel like they had to kill 1, 2, my bad, it's YouTube, feel like they had to unalive 1, 2, 3 different versions of themselves, I applaud you. Seriously. Seriously. And I would never look down on a woman that does that type of introspection, self-reflection. Because with that self-reflection, it takes a thing called accountability. So you don't have to wait to be ready. You just have to be willing. So I want the women at home to take that with them. Try to find a man that has depth about themselves. Find a man that has emotional intelligence. And I used to sleep on emotional intelligence because I used to hear this term so much lately. I'm like, what do they mean about emotional intelligence? And in my own little way, it's about having those hard conversations and you can still look that woman in the eyes and have something insightful to say. Because a woman can hit you with a gut punch, not a gut punch to hurt you, but expressing herself, and all a guy can say on a surface level is, damn, that's deep. Damn, that shit crazy. They can't impute nothing inside that woman whatsoever. They got nothing to give because they don't invest in this. You have to invest into your mind. This is the best investment that you can invest into, is your mind. Because your mind is directly associated with your character. And character is everything. See, that's the value. That's the thing that money can't buy. So all you guys out there that's surface level and y'all figure dating a woman with no kids is the path of least resistance, sir, we don't even know that woman's character. Y'all don't even take that into account. Hope you know, looks fade. Hope you know, looks fade. So if it fade, how much value is it? But your character, that don't fade. Character is something that's built through the fire. Character is something that's built through hardship. Character is something that takes time to develop. It refines over time. It ages like fine wine. And I've been single for some years now, and man, I've been loving it. And I'm not gonna lie, you know, sometimes you do think about having a significant other along the way. That's natural. That's normal. We're human. I'm human. But, you know, that time gave me a lot of time to do introspection, self-reflection. That's why I can hop on this camera and told you that I know when I fucked up in some of those relationships. And like I said, some of the best relationships that I've been with has been with women with kids or a kid. And I can see the value in that, and I can see that and the value in that clearer now than ever. I have clarity on that. And I just hate when I watch online like how many women are kind of like down, you know, about themselves when they have a kid or they have kids because they feel less desirable, things of that nature. They feel like a burden to the world. Man, it's women that sacrifice all of their 20s because they had a kid. But men, we don't take that into account. We don't take that into account that women are conscious about their age. Women are conscious about it because they figure that, well, most men put a stigma on women past the age of 30. I mean, hell, over in Japan, they got a saying called a Christmas cake because they figure that anything past the 25 mark in age, women are no longer desirable. They're old, which that's poor thinking. I've dated women that's older than me in the past. I've dated women older than me in the past, and it's not because I got a fetish, I fetishize them or anything like that, but maybe it's just a maturity level thing, right? That can be the case. Once again, man, I know when y'all tap into this channel, normally I'm talking about history, and y'all don't even know about my science side yet, you know, meditate, all of that, but I know I'm the facts, man. I give y'all facts, and I'm very informative, but once again, that's another side of me. Y'all have to be with me when I get lost in my thoughts, which is a beautiful thing. You take a cell phone away for most people, I believe that the world don't want to believe will unalive themselves without that cell phone. It's kind of like prison, solitary confinement. A lot of people unalive themselves because of that. Some people can't sit and get lost in their thoughts. You take somebody's phone away for 2 hours, you're gonna start seeing them fiend out for it. I just had a random thought, you know, the picture wasn't legendary. You made it legendary. Yeah, you made it legendary. So, shout out to the stepfathers out there. Shout out to the single mothers out there that's still doing all of that sacrificing, because I understand that you guys are sacrificing. I understand you guys are thinking about something that's bigger than yourself. And that's commendable. I would never look at that in disrespect or a burden whatsoever. You're not just gorgeous, you're like rebuilt. And that's a whole different kind of beauty. So for all the women out there, once again, that's done their shadow work, I see you. I can see the value in that. I know how to extract value out of a woman. And at the end of the day, it's small shit to a giant. You intimidated about women with kids, not knowing that everything around you is a reflection of you. And when you see how that woman's child is, that's the best reflection. That's the best proof of reflection of that person. That's what I believe. Everything around you is a reflection of you. So, you know, don't be stuck and dumb forever. Let's learn and grow together. Heff.